Welcome to Shalom-World Podcast.
Welcome back to a new episode of Heroic Lives, the podcast where we delve into the extraordinary lives of the doctors of the Church. Heroic Lives. Let's take a moment to talk about the doctors of the Church. These are saints who made a huge impact on theology and doctrine, helping to shape how the Church understands the faith. There are only 37 of them in the entire history of the Church, which shows just how important their wisdom and lives have been for us as Catholics.
In our last episode, we learned much about the life of St. Augustine of Hippo. We looked into the incredible story of St. Augustine of Hippo, a restless soul who went from chasing worldly pleasures to becoming one of the most influential thinkers in Christian history. His journey, struggles, and powerful writings on grace, sin, and faith still inspire us today. Missed the episode? No worries. Head over to Shalom-World podcasts to catch up anytime. So who are we learning about today?
Do you know who's called the servant of the servants of God?
Nope.
Well, today, we're exploring the life of someone whose impact on the Church was so significant. He's known as Gregory the Great. Yes, we're talking about Saint Gregory I. Whether you're just starting to learn about the saints or want to deepen your faith, you're in the right place. Let's jump into his incredible story, Saint Gregory the Great. Now that's a title that carries a lot of weight, doesn't it? Gregory was the 64th Pope of the Catholic Church, serving from 590 to 604 AD. His papacy marked a pivotal moment in the development of the early medieval Church, particularly in how the papacy itself was understood and how the Church interacted with the broader world. But Gregory wasn't just a leader. He was a speaker, a writer, and a man deeply committed to serving both God and the people of his time. Gregory's story begins in Rome around the year 540 AD. Born into a wealthy and influential family, Gregory seemed destined for greatness from the start. His father, Gordianus, was a senator and the prefect of Rome, a prestigious position that placed Gregory at the center of Roman society. His mother, Sylvia, was from a noble family, and their household was deeply religious, so much so that both Sylvia and Gregory's two aunts were venerated as saints. Talk about a holy family. Gregory's great-great-grandfather was Pope Felix III. Despite this privileged background, Gregory's early life wasn't without challenges. The Roman Empire was in decline, and Rome itself was a city on the brink, plagued by poverty, invasions, and political instability. Yet, Gregory excelled, receiving a classical education that prepared him for a promising career in public service. By his early 30s, he had already achieved the rank of prefect of Rome, the highest civil office in the city. But something was missing. Despite his success, Gregory felt a deep longing for something more, something beyond the power and prestige of worldly affairs. In a surprising turn, Gregory left his political career behind and embraced monastic life. He founded several monasteries, including one on his own family's estate in Rome, and became a monk. It was here, in the quiet of monastic life, that Gregory's profound spiritual journey truly began. Gregory didn't stay in the monastery for long, though. His talents were too great to remain hidden, and he was soon called to serve the Church in Rome. After a brief stint as a papal ambassador to Constantinople, Gregory was elected pope in 590 AD, a role he accepted with great reluctance. But once in office, Gregory made the most of his position, using his theological insights to guide the Church through one of its most challenging periods. Gregory's theological contributions are vast, but let's focus on a few key areas. First, he emphasized the importance of good works alongside faith, a teaching that resonates with the letter of James in the New Testament, in which it says, "Faith without works is dead." For Gregory, true faith wasn't just about belief. It was about living out that belief through acts of charity, service, and love. Gregory also had a deep understanding of the power of prayer and the intercession of saints. He believed that the saints in heaven could intercede on our behalf, helping to bring our prayers before God. This idea is still a cornerstone of Catholic prayer life today, especially in the veneration of saints. Another major contribution was Gregory's teaching on the sacramental nature of the Church. He saw the sacraments, especially the Eucharist, as vital means of grace through which we encounter the living Christ. His emphasis on the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist laid the groundwork for what would later become a central doctrine of the Church. Gregory wasn't just a thinker. He was a man of action. His teachings weren't meant to stay on the page. They were meant to be lived out. Gregory believed deeply in the practical application of faith, particularly when it came to caring for the poor and oppressed. He was one of the first popes to see the Church's role in society as not just spiritual, but also social, caring for the physical and material needs of people. He famously called himself the servant of the servants of God, a title that reflects his humble approach to leadership. Gregory actively engaged in social welfare, organizing the distribution of food to the poor and providing for those in need during times of famine and disaster. In many ways, he set the standard for what we now think of as the Church's social teaching, a commitment to justice, charity, and the dignity of every person. Gregory's impact wasn't limited to theology and charity. He also played a significant role in shaping the culture of the Western Church. One of his most lasting contributions is the Gregorian-Chant, a style of plain chant that became the standard for Western liturgical music. This music is characterized by its serene, meditative quality, which makes it perfect for prayer and worship. But Gregory's influence extended beyond music. He was a strong advocate for education within the Church, promoting the preservation of classical learning during a time when much of Europe was losing touch with its intellectual heritage. By fostering education, Gregory helped ensure that the Church would remain a center of learning and culture, even as the rest of the Western world entered the so-called Dark Ages.
So what can we learn from Gregory the Great today?
Quite a lot, actually. Gregory's teachings offer a powerful reminder that our faith should be lived out in action. In a world that's often divided by social, political, and economic differences, Gregory's commitment to charity and social justice speaks directly to our times. His life challenges us to balance faith and reason, to seek truth through both revelation and intellectual inquiry, and to serve others with humility and compassion. Gregory's emphasis on prayer and the sacraments also offers us a roadmap for spiritual growth. In a world that can often feel chaotic and overwhelming, the Eucharist and other sacraments are a source of grace and strength, helping us to stay grounded in our faith. Gregory's path to sainthood was paved with trials and challenges. His time as pope was marked by political instability, barbarian invasions, and the spread of heresy. Yet through it all, Gregory remained steadfast in his commitment to the Church and to his people. He navigated these challenges with wisdom and courage, earning him the deep respect and admiration of those around him. Gregory passed away in 604 AD, leaving behind a church that was stronger and more united because of his leadership. His reputation for holiness was such that he was immediately acclaimed as a saint by popular acclaim, and his feast day is celebrated on September 3rd. Let's wrap up with a powerful quote from Gregory the Great: "Faith without works is dead." This simple yet profound reminder calls us to live out our faith in action, in serving others, and in the choices we make each day. Let's carry these words with us as we strive to be true disciples of Christ. Reflecting on St. Augustine, what can we take away?
Today, we've explored the life of Saint Gregory the Great, a man of unwavering faith, practical wisdom, and lasting influence. His teachings remind us of the importance of charity, humility, and actively living out our faith in every aspect of life.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of Saint Gregory the Great. I hope you found his story as inspiring as I have. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who might also benefit from learning about the doctors of the Church. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss our next episode, where we'll explore the life of another remarkable saint. Until then, may God bless you and may the wisdom of the saints continue to guide your path.
Shalom-World Podcasts is now available on all online platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and others.